This is Kim Meyer, host of Choose to Rise. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
I'm the Greg.
And I am Dave Show.
We host the Greg and Dave Show on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out our show, The Greg and Dave Show, where we talk about strange, bizarre, and sometimes just downright quirky news stories that you may not have heard about.
A new show comes out every Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes. And hey, thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Throughout history, the course of sports has been shaped by one thing: the fans.
From the moments you never dreamed of,
Abby Wambach has saved the USA's life in this World Cup!
Hall, the runner! Loose ball! It's good! Gonzaga! The slipper still fits!
To the moments that still give you nightmares.
Behind the bag! It gets through Buckner! Here comes Knight and the Mets win it!
He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his fifth!
through the good and the bad, fans have helped change the games we watch and the players we love.
They may not be the most logical people.
You are a factory of sadness! I'll see you Sunday.
But they know their teams better than anybody.
They'll blow in the ninth.
You may not always see them, but you know where to find them.
After all, there's nothing quite like the view from the cheap seats.
Broadcasting as part of the Public House Media Network.
Grab a chair and enjoy all there is in
The cheap seats.
All right, welcome into the Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. I'm Baxter Colburn, that's Matt Coyne. We've got a Friday edition of the program for you. We went Facebook Live last week to help recap the first round of the NFL Draft, and now we are here back in the normal studio. Matt is styling today with the way he is dressed. His hair's all done up, his clothes are looking fresh.
I wanted to look good.
I feel very underdressed. I'm wearing jeans and a sweater.
Well, you know, sometimes you just wake up and you got to look good, you know. Oh, you always look good, but you know,
stop now.
I gotta do something to catch up.
Well,
hey, I didn't say this last week, but welcome back. It was a different week, so it was.
It was weird last week.
How was vacation?
It was great. Mexico was beautiful. We had a lot of fun. We actually took a lot of naps, which was really good too.
That is very nice.
When your wife is pregnant and you don't have any obligations really at all, aside from, you know, our days were in a sense done by like 8:30 because in the morning, because we would wake up, we would go to breakfast, we would go do the workout that we were doing, and then we had all day usually until probably 7 or 8 o'clock when we'd either meet people for dinner or we'd have a party or something that we were going to. So we just hung out by the pool. My wife and I took a ton of naps just to like catch up on sleep, just because we haven't watched like a movie front to back in like months. And we watched, I think, like 2 or 3 movies on the trip. Or like, cool. What the heck? It was lovely. And getting room service and also never paying for a single thing as well was really nice.
Yeah. I don't remember the last time we watched. It takes us like 3 or 4 tries to watch a movie.
Right, I know, and we weren't even like we didn't even plan to watch a lot of movies. Like they were just on TV, and we're like, oh, this is good. Oh, this just started. Great. So I think we watched like Bad Teacher and a couple other ones that were just like pretty funny. So
good. I'm having a good time.
It was a good time. Quick reminder for you, as we always do here on the show, we are here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Cheap Seats. Christian and John are on Mondays. You've got Jeff and Max on Wednesdays, and Matt and I are here on Fridays. The show comes out on Apple Podcasts and on iHeartRadio and wherever else you find your podcast, so feel free to subscribe and make sure to tell your friends. You can touch your friends, I guess, but touch them with the goodness of sharing this podcast. I've only had half a cup of coffee so far, so my mouth hasn't caught up to my brain quite yet this morning, which can sometimes get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe I'll get traded like Kawhi Leonard. Oh, good segue. Thank you, Baxter.
Good.
Thank you. So here's the deal. We're here in our quick headlines right off the bat. The big news out of San Antonio is that Kawhi Leonard, first of all, is not happy. I think we all kind of knew that.
Shocker.
Right? Shocker. So according to KSAT ABC 12, there is a huge push that the Spurs are determined, in quotes, to trade Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, obviously he hasn't really done much this year.
He has. Well, he was hit with a lot of injuries.
Yes. Well, and I that's not a thing against him. I'm just, obviously he.
How dare you be injured, Kawhi?
Hasn't been on the court, but yeah, I mean he's, the player's an issue when they're that good and they want to get rid of him.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing too. I think I don't know if we mentioned on this show or if I've said it in the past. When you see a player that's out with injury, not really rushing to come back, you're like,
Yeah, there's
something going on here.
Yep, I agree.
So Kawhi Leonard, San Antonio was trying to stay relevant post Tim Duncan. Tony Parker's like 87, and so is Manu Ginobili. They're still on the team.
Yeah.
Why are they still on the team? I don't know. I think they might be older than Popovich by this point. But either way, Kawhi Leonard is going to be insanely expensive for whatever team decides to go out and try to get him.
Maybe him and LeBron will end up on the same team.
See, maybe he'll, and that's the thing. I haven't really seen a lot of like proposed destinations for him yet, just because this news is all still early.
Yeah,
he's 6'7". He's the NBA Finals MVP. He's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. My goodness.
Yeah. He's not going to have trouble finding another team.
No, not at all.
It's going to be expensive.
It is very expensive. Kind of like when you have to serve a 3-game suspension for hitting somebody in the playoffs, right, Matt?
How much time do we have?
A couple seconds.
All right. So Tom Wilson from the Capitals was suspended for 3 games. His suspension started last night. I am 100% for it because I have this platform right now. I'm going to say that I think it was well-deserved. I will have Capitals fans, and I guess every commentator in the NHL disagreeing with me, except the NHL themselves, who came out with about a 5-minute explanation on why he was suspended. Everything that I said and a lot of people said, people go, he didn't leave his feet. And I went, well, here's the thing. If you watch the hit, after he hit Aston Reese, however you want to say it, he left his feet. Baxter, if you're hitting somebody straight on, you're going to move forward, not up, correct?
That's how science works.
So, clearly he was moving up. Clearly, they say in this video, if you watch this video, he could have hit him clean with a body check. Instead, he turns his left shoulder in, moves up on him, hits him in the head. For back-to-back games, the game before that, he hit Dumoulin high. He was not called for it. And I'll be honest, I don't think he should have been suspended for that one. But it was a high hit. This one, Tom Wilson he's a repeat offender. Every time the Penguins play against him, I'm not saying that the Penguins are darlings. They have dirty players.
Everybody has them.
But Tom Wilson, I honestly think this was a 3-game suspension because they thought the Capitals-Penguins series would have got out of hand. I think they had to get him off the ice. The Penguins, every time he was on the ice, he was just being targeted. I'm not saying that's right by the Penguins, but I am glad he was suspended. I think it was well-deserved, and we'll see. The Penguins are down. We'll see what happens. They're going back to, let's see, where are they going? They go back to Washington, I think, Saturday night. So we'll see what happens.
Going to be an interesting one. Staying in Pittsburgh briefly, for those that were paying attention to the NFL draft last week, you may have kind of heard, it was kind of quietly under the radar, but you may have heard the fact that we saw I can't even think of the word now. We saw Martavis Bryant get traded over to it was the Oakland Raiders, right? He ended up with. So, on a 3rd-round pick, kind of a swappy-to-do deal there. But Big Ben came out and said, I'm a little surprised by this move.
Yeah, I was surprised by hearing that because last year there was a lot of tension between those two. A lot of tension with Bryant. Rumors came out that he wanted traded. He, said no, that wasn't true. But I think it was true. I think it's one of those things that Ben was. Oh, I was surprised they actually did it. I think he knew it was a possibility. I think it was more he was surprised that they actually pulled the trigger on the trade.
Exactly right. So we'll see what does Oakland do this season with Jordy Nelson, with I wanted to call him Amari Toomer. That's not it. Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
That was Amari Toomer.
Amari. Yeah, man.
Good players back in the day. Final quick headlines. There is some strange rumors out of the NFL as well, too, that the Patriots are making a swoop in for Baker Mayfield during the draft. Obviously never happened, but New England did get him into their offices to interview them. But what I've heard by this is that Bill Belichick always interviews or tries to interview all the quarterbacks in the draft class because he would like to kind of have an idea of who he's going against. Yeah. So it's a smart move,
Absolutely.
But the fact that everyone was like, they were going to take him.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I don't see that. I don't know what they would have even traded to get up that high. I mean, they would have had to trade up virtually a whole round. Yeah. If you think about it, they had
2 first-round picks.
Yeah,
they would have probably had to given up both of them
plus
to move
more,
up to 2.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I believe it could have happened. I would have been surprised if Patriots did that. That's not really a Belichick kind of move.
No, it's not. So I think the fact that it didn't happen didn't really surprise too many people, but I think...
Will Baker Mayfield make a difference? We'll find out.
Maybe. I have no idea. All right, aside from that, last big thing, you and I mentioned this off air. We're excited about this. Kentucky Derby is coming up on Saturday. Place your bets. I don't really have a horse in the race. It's a horse apiece to me.
I just always love the names.
Right, exactly. I think there's some good ones out there. And our poll question this week as well, too, is would you ever attend the Kentucky Derby? Some people love it because you can get, what is it? Is it mint juniper? What, I don't even know. What's the drink that you get there? I forget what it is. Know. You get this one drink that you drink by like the gallons, basically. Yeah. And they're like super cheap. Kind of like the Masters, too, where you can get the pimento cheese sandwiches for like $2 or something like that. So.
Yeah, I always end up turning on it because it's only like 3 seconds long. So the race itself, I mean, they have it on the air for like 4 hours, and the race is seriously, I think it's like 50 seconds or something like that.
I love it too when they show like they'll cut to the nearby airports and it's everybody's private planes all lined up.
Yes,
too. I'm like, okay, we get it. You have lots of money.
It's a very. I mean, I'm not a horse racing fiend, but it is always a fun thing to watch, turn it on for a little bit on Saturday when it's on.
Yeah, I agree. All right, those are your quick headlines. We're going to step aside for a fast break. When we come back, the NBA playoffs are heating up. Some surprising wins. The Jazz grabbing a win the other night, among others. We'll talk about that and more when we return on the Cheap Seats.
Sam Kirby, host of Cinema Stories here on Public House Media. Thank you for tuning in to the following broadcast here on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Cinema Stories, where we talk about movie and TV news and reviews, and maybe, just maybe, we'll learn a little something about ourselves. If not, then maybe I made you laugh a couple of times. I don't know. New episodes air bi-weekly on Tuesdays. Thanks again for checking out the totally spectacular following broadcast here on Public House Media.
Welcome back to the Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. I'm Baxter Colburn. That's Matt Coyne. All right, Matt, some great stuff for us here in the first segment. Reminder for you can find the Cheap Seats over on Facebook. Just go and search for the Cheap Seats by Public House Media, or if you search for Public House Media, which is the network we are presented by, you can follow and like them. You can subscribe. There's a lot of great things you can do. All right, the NBA playoffs, as we know it, have been surprising.
Yeah.
By some accounts.
Well, I mean, your bold prediction a few weeks back was that Milwaukee was going to get swept, and they took it 7 games.
Oh, I wasn't mad about that.
No.
But at the same time, I was just like, okay, guys, what are we going to do? But I don't think they really would have. I think they would have actually stood a better chance against Philly in the second round than they would have against Boston in the first round. So I was hoping that they were going to find a way, but...
Speaking of bold predictions, 2 weeks ago, mine was that the Penguins would sweep. They didn't. But I said they would score 4 goals in every game. They did in every win. They averaged like 5 goals. Isn't that crazy?
Holy man.
I'm sorry.
No.
Completely aside. Back to it.
Well done.
Hey, thanks.
So the first round of the NBA playoffs, the East and the West semifinals are underway. The Celtics took Game 1 back on April the 30th, 117-101 over Philadelphia. We also saw the Cavs and Raptors go to overtime in Toronto.
I still don't understand how that... I turned that game off because I thought it was just over.
You forgot about LeBron James.
Yeah, that's just...
That was your first mistake.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they were down, I forget what the score. They were down by about 20 when I turned it off. So I just cannot believe that they... I mean, I'll be honest with you, it was earlier in the game, but I just couldn't believe
but
that.
Still.
I mean, it was late for me, Baxter.
It's like 7:30 at night.
Yeah, I know. That's late for me. But no, seriously, I mean, he's just ridiculous. What he did, in this game, and just Game 7, the round before, just how he takes over these games, and
right.
So many people I still don't understand how they bash him, and I'm just like, he's
good.
Yeah, he's like really good. Yeah. But that's just amazing. I don't think too many people are giving them a shot against the Raptors after the first round. But I tell you what, LeBron's not going down quiet.
No, 26 points for LeBron James. He played 47 minutes, and which is obviously much longer because of overtime as well too. But 26 points. J.R. Smith had 20 to add to that. Kyle Korver had 19. Then we saw Green and Thompson come off the bench as well, too, and hit 16 and 14, respectively. But let's not take anything away from the Raptors, though. They had a good overall team performance. DeMar DeRozan, Valanciunas as well, too, both 22 and 21 points from them. But Toronto didn't really have one player that stood out to me that did a fantastic job. I mean, DeMar DeRozan, who went 10 of 20 from inside the three-point arc. He missed all 4 of his three-pointers that he took, but still, I mean, still a good game overall. He had 7 rebounds, 5 assists as well. But what does Cleveland have enough in the tank after going to overtime and is really being pushed to the brink? What feels like in all of their series, because they went to Game 7. With the Pacers as well too in the first round.
Yeah.
So they're getting tired out, I feel like.
Yeah, it's but LeBron.
LeBron.
Yeah, I think that's always the but, LeBron is just, he's not going down. He played more this year than he ever has. This is the first year I believe he played all 82 games. So he doesn't look like he's slowing down. I think the Cavs I mean, it's only one game. Everybody always gets all crazy after one game. But, I mean, I think this shows the fight that they still have and shows that they are definitely ready to compete with Toronto.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you on that one. All right, so the other games, I'll be honest, I forgot the New Orleans Pelicans were in the playoffs.
Interesting.
Did you know they were?
I did, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. Totally forgot about that. Didn't even realize that they were in the playoffs. Didn't even realize that they beat the Trailblazers either. But they did.
And now they're going to get destroyed by...
They swept Portland.
Golden State.
Which was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, they lost their first playoff game, 123-101 against Golden State. Steph Curry returned. But good time.
Yeah.
He did all right in his first game back,
Yeah, it's just... I think we were saying, I don't know if it was when we had Christian on or what, but, we were saying that, Golden State had to kind of slow up a little bit to let him come back. And I still say that's what they were doing in the first round by not sweeping. So now he's back, and I think the West is just saying, okay, Golden State, you got it. But
true.
That's why they play them.
That's why they play the games.
Yeah.
It's true. And I don't know if I'm just missing this. Did Curry actually play? Did he shoot in it all? Or did he just come into the game for a little bit? Because I don't see any stats for him unless I'm totally able to read.
I'm almost positive he played. He came off the bench, I believe. Let me look here.
Maybe I just...
Steph Curry, he had 28 points. So not a bad day. Yeah, he did come off the bench. He didn't start.
Huh. Well, anybody from ESPN, if you're listening, he's not on your Golden State box score. just letting you know that. Just not there. See? He's just not. It's not on there.
I'm on ESPN. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the app.
I'm on the ESPN app.
Yeah, this is game 2, 121-116. Golden State won.
Oh, that's why I'm looking at the wrong game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so 28 points off the bench. So I think.
Oh, look, Steph Curry. He was 8 of 15, 5.
I think he's ready. I think he's ready to come back.
Yeah, I think so. If you can score 28 points off the bench, maybe Golden State's sitting there going let's have him come off the bench every game.
Yeah,
great. 28 points off the bench. That's like a dream for some coaches.
This is what happens when two people who don't know basketball too well talk about basketball.
You are correct, and you are not wrong. Wednesday night saw a good game as the Jazz snuck a game, some might say, but the Jazz have been kind of cheeky this entire playoffs. They've been pushing some teams. They've been now up against matched with the Houston Rockets, who many are saying are the best team in the NBA right now. Mm-hmm. They beat them 116-108. I don't know. I'm trying to see here. I'm looking at this entire... I know one player on the Jazz. I know Jay Crowder. It's the only guy I know on the Jazz.
Yeah, Derek.
Gone are the days.
Derek. Well, I watched
Karl
college,
Malone.
Yeah. So
some of these other
Derek
guys.
Favors, I know.
But who's this Jay Ingles fellow? And I know for those of you that are home that are basketball fans,
You're like,
probably like,
stop.
I know, like you guys, but like this is the reality of it though.
Yeah.
Us as fans, I mean, I know the guys on the Bucks. That's all I really know. I don't follow Utah.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Pittsburgh doesn't have a team, so I mean, the closest is Cleveland. So
what do you think an NBA team would do well in Pittsburgh?
No, they used to have an ABA team, and it did not do well.
Oh, sure.
Their NBA team is Pitt. Honestly, like that's their NBA team, and I think they're cool with that.
Hyped for Pitt basketball.
And yeah, I mean, I've been to a handful of Cleveland Cavalier games. I mean, Cleveland's about 3 hours from Pittsburgh, but I just never really got into it. You know, you're from Western Pennsylvania. You're watching football and baseball and hockey. So, but anyway, hey,
don't forget, you guys have a fun little soccer team there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
as
the
well,
Riverhounds.
Yeah. You've got the Riverhounds, and then you've got Bethlehem Steel down close by you guys as well too.
Oh, I did. Yeah. We Riverhounds, I've been to a few of their games, too.
Yeah.
They actually used to do some pretty cool stuff for the kids in the community.
Oh, the kids.
Yeah.
It's for the kids.
The kids. Anyways, we're getting off of basketball.
It's more fun that way. A couple of games Thursday evening. Celtics, 76ers we'll look at again. Cavs and Raptors as well. I'm sure Christian and John and all of them will have all that great info for you back on Monday. So make sure to tune in for that. Some other fun games to watch, of course, over the weekend. Friday night, Warriors, Pelicans, Rockets, Jazz. Saturday, you've got Celtics, 76ers again, Raptors, Cavs. And Sunday, Warriors, Pelicans, Rockets, Jazz. So Golden State could potentially have swept the Pelicans by the time John and Christian get on the air for the Monday show. So keep that in mind in your back pocket. The Celtics won't be able to have swept by that point. Neither will the Cavs either. So keep those in the back of your mind, though. You never officially know when it comes to the playoffs. We are going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we both have been thinking and deliberating and staying up way too late trying to figure this out. But we are going to reveal our top 5 NFL draft picks that we think will make the biggest impact in 2018. I've got my list. You've got your list.
Yeah, I guess.
We'll do that when we come back. We'll deliberate. It's the Cheap Seats with Matt Coyne and Baxter Colburn here on Public House Media.
Hi, this is Emily.
This is Lindsay.
And this is Elizabeth, co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Once you are done with this episode, we hope you'll come check out our show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk nerdy to you about fandoms, fan fiction, and all pop culture for nerds that you can think of. A new show comes out every Friday.
Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
If only life were that easy. If I could just dance and everything would be okay. Tell me it's going to be okay, Matt. Can I just dance and it's going to be okay?
It won't be.
Why not?
I have to be the voice of reason.
You are. You're the older, wiser.
It will not be.
It will not be okay. Fine. Fair enough.
There's a... I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say there's a quote in Trolls.
Oh my gosh!
where his son goes, "Daddy, will I ever be happy?" And he goes, "Son, no." No, you won't.
I like it.
Okay.
All right. That's Matt Coyne. I'm Baxter Colburn. We're up in the cheap seats. We are going to be revealing now our top 5 picks from this year's NFL draft that we think will have the biggest impact right away. I'll be honest, I may have copped out. I did all first-round draft picks, but I think that those are the guys that we're going to see a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't estimate what a 6th-round draft pick that's going to all of a sudden win Rookie of the Year is going to do. I can't do that, man.
Yeah. Well, and this is where you have all your high-profile players.
Right.
You're right. You can't. I mean, there's players that aren't even that weren't drafted that are going to make
a big impact. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's better to go with what we know.
Correct.
In my opinion, as the kids say, IMO.
Yeah. Wait.
So
yes.
In my opinion, I know I always have to say that out too. I'm like, in my. Anyway, so how do we want to do this?
However you want. How about we just go one by one?
Perfect.
We'll probably repeat.
Probably. We know we have at least one for sure that's on both of our lists.
Yes.
All right, my first one, which I think is a fairly obvious duh, he's already been lauded as the potential Rookie of the Year, is Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants are in a very unique and interesting position that they now, Eli is back again, Odell will hopefully be over his tantrum and he'll be out of his diaper into maybe a pull-up by the time season's ready, so he can be a little bit more of a big kid now. But exactly, maybe Des Bryant might be signing with the Giants as well, too. We don't know specifically, but the fact of the matter is that the Giants are trying to rebuild and adding in arguably a insanely talented and dangerous running back, which they have not had, ever. I don't think the Giants have ever had. Tiki Barber, I don't want to take anything away from Tiki Barber, but he wouldn't take over a game.
Yeah, and he had that crazy, the way he held it. Remember, he fumbled all the time, and they switched his style.
Yeah. I love how they finally waited till the NFL to finally change his style. I'm like, nobody in college, no one in high school caught that. You were just like,
you fumble all the time.
Weird. I don't know.
It's a great
Saquon Barkley, though, my first pick. What about you?
I'm saying number 1, Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to come in.
He's a savior.
I'm not on the Baker Mayfield wagon, but I'm slowly starting to move to neutral on him.
Somewhere Christian Heimel's like, I told you! Like, we get it, Christian.
I just think he... just listening to him more and seeing, what the Browns are doing, he, I think, will make an impact other than when he plays the Steelers.
Yeah, no, that makes, we'll see. You're just like, I just hope he throws 20 picks when we play him. Otherwise, you do whatever you want to do. All right, my next one is Bradley Chubb. I think you are taking a already explosive player and putting him on an already explosive defense, so you just made the best defense in the league even better.
Yeah.
You now have Von Miller, you now have Bradley Chubb coming at you from both sides. That's terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, that is...
Among others that are going to be coming at you from Denver as well, too, but...
Did you watch him play in college at all?
A little bit,
He's a lot... And I hate going Pitt, but he's like Aaron Donald. That's like, watching him play, he's just... I'm like... You're a man among boys. He reminds me, well, not a lot, I mean, different positions, but he does remind me a lot of him. So.
Yeah.
Well, not different positions, never mind.
But yeah, Bradley Chubb, massive help for what Denver is going to continue to do. Their offense needs a lot of work, but hey, if your defense can keep it close and say offense, we're going to at least give you a chance.
Yeah.
Give it a shot. See what happens.
Here we go.
All right. What about you?
I just realized I did this. I'm going to from the first overall pick to the 32nd, so the last pick, staying in the AFC North.
Of course.
I think Lamar Jackson is going to make a big difference.
You think?
And here's why I think. I think Joe Flacco is going to get hurt because he does every year. Not every year, but I think he's going to get hurt. I think Lamar Jackson's going to impress. I think he is. I've been impressed with him at Louisville. I think that he is going to come in, and obviously that's pending Flacco getting hurt.
Well, even if Flacco doesn't get hurt, though, what's the timeline in your mind for the Joe Flacco acceptance meter?
I think it's getting shorter and shorter. I know he has his Super Bowl, but I don't even give that to him. I know that when he gets to the playoffs, he is normally okay.
Right.
They haven't been getting there, though. So that's the issue.
They haven't been doing much.
I think I could be wrong, but I could see Lamar Jackson making it in here and there, and especially in the preseason, obviously. But in the regular season, I see them bringing him in every once in a while, and I think eventually he's going to overtake Flacco.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I say by the time by week 8, Lamar Jackson will have either played in a game or will be starting by week 8.
Yeah,
that's my clock as well too that I'm sticking with. So, yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one. All right, moving through the list here. I think Jaire Alexander for the Packers, that starting corner, I think is huge because Green Bay desperately needs corner help, and I think he is the man to do it. They also got Josh Jackson from Iowa as well too, so I'm really excited to have both of them on the team. I think both of them collectively are worlds better from what I've seen and heard so far than anybody else that we have on the team. So I'm hopeful that they can be saviors.
My third one, I will read it how I have it. Both cornerbacks from Green Bay.
Oh, there you go.
I agree. They didn't have anything. It's kind of like they walked right into it. They're like, sweet, we don't really have to compete for a position.
Right.
Because we're really the only ones they have.
I know. Tremont Williams and Devon House.
Yeah, so for Green Bay to take their first 2 picks on cornerbacks, I think was very smart.
Needed.
Yeah.
Made a lot of people happy.
I think that they obviously knew it was needed. I wish that Pittsburgh would have done that as well. So I think they did well with the cornerbacks they got, and I think it's kind of a no-brainer, but not only do I think they're going to opening day. What are we talking about? First week, I think they are going to be on the field starting together, and I think they're going to make a big impact.
I agree. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about that running back that you and I both selected since we both have him on our list?
Yeah, so Sonny Michel from Georgia was drafted by the Patriots 31st overall. I think he's going to make an impact right away because I don't really think that Belichick has a running back that he is completely sold on. So I think that he's going to come in and he's going to make a difference pretty quickly.
I agree. I completely agree. Last guy on my list, like I said, we both had Sonny Michel. I have Sam Darnold on my list as well, too, because I think that the Jets are going to throw him into the fire and say, good luck, figure it out. And I think he will rise to the occasion. I really hope the Jets go out and try to get a couple more possible options for him to throw the ball to. I'm looking at the free agent list right now. There's still some really good players available.
Yeah.
And I hope that NFL teams are looking at this list going, DeMarco Murray's still sitting around.
Yeah.
C.J. Anderson. Eric Reed. Well, we know what's going on with Eric Reed right now.
Yeah.
But even still, Jonathan Hankins and Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie and a bunch of others that are just sitting around, Junior Gallup, Navarro Bowman. There's some good defensive players just hanging out.
Yeah.
Go get them.
I think the closer we get, we always see these random signings. I think that's going to happen. So.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. All right. We need to go to a break because when we come back, we are going to talk about... Did you give us your last one?
I didn't.
No, give us your last one. I'm sorry.
7th round pick, Jordan Mailata, rugby player to the Eagles.
I like it.
6'8", runs about a 4'8", 350 pounds, running back.
MVP of the league this year.
Done.
Calling it.
That's why I didn't really care about giving it.
All right, when we come back, we have been debating a lot on the show the last couple of weeks about the best sports games, the best this, the best that. We're going to each give our lists for who we think are the best top 5, or just our 5 favorites. Is favorite a better word than best?
Yeah, this was more of a heart, just like the games, but this was even
favorite.
more. Yeah, we'll explain when we come back. But yeah, this is more of our favorites.
Sports movies. We'll be right back on the cheap seat. Stay with us.
This is Danny Domer, host of podcast The Star Wars Story, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Podcast The Star Wars Story, where we talk about Star Wars and everything there is to know about Star Wars. A new show comes out every other week, also known as bi-monthly for you calendar folk. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Podcast, The Star Wars Story. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Welcome back to the Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. Reminder, the show comes out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. Central Time on Apple Podcasts and wherever you find your favorite podcast. While you're there, why not subscribe? Send a link to a couple of your friends and say, hey, this is a sweet, awesome podcast where they change hosts and nothing ever makes sense, and the guys on Friday don't know a darn thing about the NBA. You should do that. So,
Deal.
If you're up for that, you should do it.
But we know so much about it.
Do we?
Movies.
Oh, movies, yes. There we go. Well done. So we decided to pick, Matt, our top 5 favorite movies, or just our 5 favorite sports movies.
Yes.
So our lists are different. I know that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We sat down, we talked about, do we want to do just football, just baseball?
Right.
There's just so many of them. And, it's so hard. I mean, do we want to do before the 90s, after the 90s, So what we decided to do is just say, you know what? Let's change it up and let's each pick 5 movies and we ended up, I don't think we talked about it. We'll be honest, we talked about it before.
Yep.
And we didn't overlap, which is crazy.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, you give me your 5, and then I'll give you my 5.
Okay. Are you ready?
I was born ready. Do you want music?
Yeah, I want music. Thank you. All right. So my first movie is Mighty Ducks 2.
Ooh, why the second one?
I just like the second one the best. I don't know why. But Mighty Ducks 2, I watched that many times, and I think that was another VHS that I wore out at one point. So
VHS.
Yeah.
All the millennials are like, what is that?
Second movie, I'm giving you a heads up. I have 3 baseball movies. Second movie, a classic. Well, back to the 90s, Sandlot.
Yes.
Another good one. Rocky 2, I picked. Again, another 2. That was my favorite one of the Rockies.
Out of curiosity, what child are you in the rotation of being born?
Second.
Aha! Sorry. Anyway.
You're right though. Well, that's Apollo Creed. I mean, it was that was a good one. But this one.
And how many kids do you have?
How many kids do I have?
Yeah.
2.
Aha!
That's how we roll.
Yeah. So the number 2, synonymous with Matt Coyne.
It has a number. All right, I'm going back all the way to 1942.
Holy man.
For The Pride of the Yankees with Gary Cooper, one of my favorite movies. My dad got me into this. We were talking a little bit about this off the air. My dad had introduced me to many classic movies. This is my favorite. So Pride of the Yankees, the Lou Gehrig story, if anybody out there isn't sure. Next one, another baseball movie. The last one, I'm sorry. A League of Their Own.
Good job.
I enjoyed that one. So Mighty Ducks 2, Sandlot, Rocky 2, Pride of the Yankees, and A League of Their Own.
Perfect. Well, hey, I've got 2 minutes left on this song, so I'm going to just piggyback off of yours. My 5 are a little bit newer. 3 of them are football movies. I think a classic for everyone. Remember the Titans? That was a big one that really just kind of broke me into the sports movie world. I remember my dad and my grandpa taking me to go see that one.
And you cried.
I did. I love watching it. Radio was another big one with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
Loved that one. If I ever just want to get hyped up, I'll watch Miracle. That's the next one on my list. We Are Marshall. I don't think as many people enjoy or appreciate.
That's a hidden gem. I really enjoyed that one.
I think that was a really well done performance by Matthew McConaughey, and I think people often forget that he was in that movie. So We Are Marshall is a fantastic one. And then if I'm just looking for a good laugh and just want to have some fun, I go with Cool Runnings. As my 5th one.
That's a great one too.
And we had talked about this off air. There's not a good soccer movie, in my opinion, that I've discovered yet.
I mean, The Big Green was a funny one. Well, you know what? Another Kicking and Screaming I like too.
I haven't seen
with Will Ferrell.
I haven't
you
seen
got to see
movie.
That is actually, I think that's probably my favorite soccer movie.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
I know there's some good ones out there that I've heard about, but I've never watched.
Yeah. And then we talked as Happy Gilmore. Is that soccer? Or is that soccer?
Golf.
Is that hockey or is that golf?
Yes.
But that's a good one too.
It is.
There's so many good ones. That's why we didn't want to do a draft because people would have argued. Yeah.
Right. So those are the 5 that we each chose. We'd love to hear your opinions about it. We're going to take another quick break and come back, give bold predictions, and reiterate our poll question, and be back with more on the Cheap Seats here on Public House Media.
I'm the Greg.
And I am Dave Show.
We host the Greg and Dave Show on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out our show, The Greg and Dave Show, where we talk about strange, bizarre, and sometimes just downright quirky news stories that you may not have heard about.
A new show comes out every Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes. And hey, thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Welcome back up in the Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. I'm sensing a lot of the theme with our songs today. Dancing, shaking. Just in a dancey mood today, I guess, here on this Friday.
I see that.
Love it.
Excited for the weekend.
I am. I'm excited for the weekend. I'm just excited to finally be settled into. My family moved to our new house this last week, and we've finally been starting to kind of get our life back together. It's been kind of a hot mess these last couple of weeks with moving and transitioning and starting grad school and going to Mexico and blah, 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 all that fun stuff. So trying to breathe a little bit. Started coaching this last week as well, too. Cool. Started coaching some soccer, so that's been a lot of fun. So a couple of your kids and youth group are on my team.
Yeah,
so
that's why
keep them accountable.
That's good.
In multiple areas.
Yes.
So yeah, it's been fun. All right, as we get ready to get out of here, as we do, we have our bold predictions and our poll question. I have my bold prediction ready. I don't know if you have your bold prediction.
Yes.
Okay, well, why don't you lead us off, sir?
Kentucky Derby, we're going. My boy Jack, 30-1 odd.
30-1 odds.
I feel good about my boy Jack. I've looked into a lot of what he has done in his young life.
Okay.
So I feel like he's going to come out. He's in post position 10. That's a great post position.
It's not post position 2,
I tried to say that with a straight face. But yes, my boy Jack will win the Kentucky Derby at 31 odds.
Are you going to place a bet, or a legit bet on that at all?
I'll place $1.
$1! Now I feel like I have to pick a Kentucky Derby thing, because I didn't.
You don't have to. Here, I have the list.
Say, what's the list here? Let me see here. I'll use my.
You don't know the horses? Come on.
I am going to go. Wow, there's some great names. Holy man. Blended Citizen. That's anyway. Lone Sailor, Vino Rosso.
Vino Rossa.
Man, oh man. I could go so many different directions with this. I'm going to go Audible because as being a person that loves and listens to a lot of podcasts, I got to go the Audible route. So Audible, 8-1 odds, pole position 5 is my prediction to win the Kentucky Derby. I will match your $1 bet.
And I'll win more if I win, though. Because I'm 30-1.
That's true.
You're 8-1.
So
nice.
what do I pay you on the dollar then?
I don't know.
Who knows?
We're both going to be wrong, so it doesn't
Probably.
matter.
Either way, my other bold prediction I was going to offer was going to say the fact that I think that there will be at least one sweep here in the NBA series, NBA semifinals. There's still 2 opportunities for it between the Cavs and between Golden State.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be at least one sweep in the series between one of those 2 series.
There we go.
So there you go. And our poll question was this week is, like we mentioned earlier at the top of the show, would you attend the Kentucky Derby? I think both of us said yes.
I would.
Not?
Absolutely.
It's an experience. Go. Have fun.
I wear that Oh, wait.
You could wear the crazy hat.
Yeah, nobody
I would let you wear the hat.
Thank you.
As long as I can wear the dress.
Okay, wait.
Anyway,
not a good way to end.
Time to segue out of the show. Matt Coyne, any final thoughts, sir?
No.
Okay. Perfect. He's Matt Coyne. I'm Baxter Colburn. Thanks for tuning in this week. We hope you enjoyed our craziness Monday edition of the show, coming up again with Christian and John. Don't miss it. It's the greatest show here in the Cheap Seats. It's called The Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. More information can be found by heading over to thephmedia.com. Check out all the other great shows on Public House Media. There's something for everyone. We even have merchandise available. Just go to thephmedia.com. Click on the store tab on the top right corner, and you can go and get a great shirt, a hat, a mug, phone case, all kinds of good stuff. I gotta order some swag here eventually. I love it.
Stuff we are.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening in. We will see you on Friday. The next time we'll be back, but on Monday for the next edition of The Cheap Seats with Christian and John. Have a great weekend.